Hey you, so in this video, gold and silver ultimate to-do list, I'm going to be going over what could be considered the most important top three. So each and every individual is going to have their own top three, what they think is the most important to-do list when it comes to stacking gold and silver, and just give a rundown of why I think these are the top three most important to-do lists when you're stacking gold and silver. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments, and also if you haven't done so already and you like what you see / hear, please do go ahead and subscribe and come join me on this journey. So starting off what I'll be saying is I'm going to give a rundown on what I believe is a must do. You know, there's a to-do list for everything in life, and whenever you're stacking gold and silver, I feel like this list here, or this procedure here, is something everybody needs to take into account when you're doing that. So as mentioned, if you have anything you'd want to add to the list, or something you feel if it's going to be a lifelong thing, a lifestyle change for somebody, that they should also add to that list. So I'm going to start this off by saying, in no specific order, but I'll say top three. So, you know, number one, when it's going to come to stacking gold and silver, something that you most definitely must do when it comes to the to-do list is going to be have your exit strategy / drill. You know, so the exit strategy is out there quite a bit, but I'm going to add an extra part onto that, and there's going to be the exit strategy / drill set in place or done, or procedure thought through and, you know, done, a dry run or a full run, when you're going to be stacking this stuff. So when you're talking exit strategy, it's just a case of knowing that when the time comes, what you're going to do. You're not just going to sit there and look at it. Not to forget, a lot of people that are serious about doing this are going long. You know, so the one coin you're looking at here, it does stick around and doesn't get dumped in any given time. I could be looking at this exact same coin 30 years from now. 30 years from now, what am I going to do? I'm going to be in the exact same climate. What's going to be the price of the coin? But in terms of turning this into a better way of life 30 years from now, what am I going to do? Are the same dealers that are around now will be around then later? Will this be worth junk? So just know what you're going to do in a good or a bad scenario. When we're looking at the exit strategy / drill, I would say it'd be like any test that you're going for. Certain tests have a practical, and I would say having the strategy set in place, i.e. you can write that down, know in theory what you're going to do with that. And the drill part, what I'll be touching upon in a moment, is going to be the practical part of a test. So as mentioned, the exit strategy is just physically knowing whether you've jotted that down or it's just etched in, that when the time comes, I will be going to this dealer, I'll be looking to liquidate this. So you want to organize your life now, and as we get further down, I'll comment more on that. So that's going to be the strategy part. When we're talking drill, it would essentially be exactly like what a fire drill is. If you're in an office building or any type of establishment where, you know, you're doing a fire drill, what happens when you do a fire drill? The alarms go off and you head to the exits. Why? Because it's getting that muscle memory, and it's getting you up to date what happens when a bad case scenario happens, which could technically be the worst of fire. So, you know, the last thing you want to be doing is being a fire drill and, you know, everybody comes out their cubicles, head down to the far left, fire door, you know, walk down the stairs and you're out, or the elevators ain't working, and you get there and the fire door is wonky, or, you know, blocked off, and, you know, you never knew this until the time there was an actual fire. So these things are set in place, or just, you know, drills are needed in life. And I think for something like metals, because they're so volatile and ways change, if you're talking weight or collector coins, I think drills, and this is something I've been highlighting a lot of recent videos, drills in liquidating processes and just giving a dry run, calling up, seeing what you've got is, you know, wanted by the dealers. I think dry runs are good. Now, if you're accumulating, the last thing you want to be doing is, you know, accumulating 20 ounces and then sell them. No, by no means. There's an accumulation phase, and then there's a phase to really put it to the rest. There's a stress test phase, and i.e. that's what you're doing when you're doing somewhat of a drill. With any market, and a lot of the times in the markets, you see this more in the virtual markets, you're taking profits. So you see that in the stock market, you see that in the crypto market. I don't think it should be any different in the physical market. So, i.e. the drill part is more important now than ever. It gives you a sense of understanding. I mean, it's surprising how many people in the comments mention that they've been stacking for many years, yet they've never sold an ounce. And to them, it would be kind of baffling. They wouldn't know what to do when the time comes to sell an ounce. I find that surprising at some, because, you know, a lot of the time people just believe that the main part and the only part is the accumulation part. But selling it is also a very important part. You know, you can find out nasty surprises about pieces you may have been stacking. You may have just been stacking, as the bit goes off in the background there, you may have just been stacking generic, and come time to liquidate, it may not be in favor. You may be stacking a certain type. You can find out a lot of things that you didn't know, because as I've mentioned in the past, purchasing is a lot different than selling. Purchasing, I would say, your metals is technically the easiest part, and it's always going to be the smoothest part. You're never going to have a dealer turn you down, or, you know, hardball you for a price that you're willing to give him for a certain coin or a series or something like that. When it comes to liquidating, that's where people get fussy, because they got overheads. They don't want to be lumbered with stock. They like selling, not technically buying if business is bad. So this is why doing the drill part of it is most definitely important. Now, I'd say a couple of things to look out for in that, and a couple of things you can really get a good understanding on is shipping when it comes to drills. So, you know, exit strategy / drill. Insurance, depending on who you deal with. Some dealers cover the shipping, some dealers don't. Some people won't ship. I've come across individuals like that just technically won't ship. They don't like dealing where it's left in the third party's hands. They'd rather do a lot of it themselves. So it limits them to their surrounding areas. So, you know, you have to take the insurance into account. These are things that you just need to know. You need to know different dealers' spread. Some dealers may favor certain things over others. Some dealers, you know, you may be your local LCS that's just gone bust. What's the next option? It's best to have, I've mentioned in the past, a minimum of 5 dealers to check up on. I think that's so crucial important, because different dealers offer different deals and you know, favor different things. But in the end of the day, if you can find the right product that works for you, with its 1,000 ounce bars, 10 ounce bars, you know, 100 ounce bars, governmented coins, which is my favorite, then you need to do that. But always putting a drill in place in a peak, as mentioned. You know, if you're in accumulation phase, a couple of weeks back of releasing this video, the time of releasing this video, spot price was a lot higher than it was now. So, you know, I had people that was just doing a dry run, and myself, I put it into theory and found out a couple more tweaks when, you know, it came into play. So I would say most definitely on the to-do list is to have your exit strategy / drill set in place and know exactly what you're going to do when the time comes. So have that all etched down and do a draw every now and then. So, you know, taking some profits is not a bad thing, especially if you're putting it back into metals, or just getting you into the swing of things and helping you understand what happens when it is time to liquidate many years from now. So next, number 2, no specific order once again, is going to be security. Now, security is something I don't really talk about a lot on the channel. And when I say security, it's going to be security / storage when it comes to your metals. You know, this is something you most definitely need to have in order and understand of how you're going to go about doing that. Now, when we're talking storage / security, it boils down to a couple of things. It's going to be different from person to person. You're either going to go in-house, wherever that is going to be, you know, so hiding it wherever it is. You're going to have the next option of vault in-house, so a safe in-house. You know, whether you tag insurance on with that is up to you. So you'll have a safe, be it visible or not visible, and that will also be in-house. Once you step it up a level, you'll have something like bank vault storage, and then you'll have independent vault storage. Now, when it comes to these things, I would say I have a portion in all of these. And funnily enough, the only one I don't have stuff in would be mainly the home safe storage. I've always found them as more of a liability, but once again, this is all going to be down to each individual. So it's going to differ from person to person, and even where you're located. I mean, I've also said to you, if you live in somewhat of a fairly safe neighborhood, if your entire life, whether you've moved in different locations, if you've never been burgled, or, you know, you think you're in a fairly safe place, everyone may take different risks. In the end of the day, you're going to have to work out what works best for you. I would say if you're stacking silver, then, you know, once you touch the 100 ounces, you need to start getting serious and thinking about what you're going to do, whether you're stacking it all in the same place, or, you know, you start venturing out, getting a smaller safe. Hiding it in plain sight is something that I've employed in different locations. I would say, look, when we're talking storage, if I can get this in the shot, you can get safety deposit boxes getting into storage now at about this size here, give or take, you know, and these can be very cheap in price, but the benefits that they offer, I'd say price wise, you can get upwards of 10k to £500,000 in terms of insurance. But you're looking at a unit this size in whether it's a bank or independent, could cost you anywhere from £150 to £300 a year. So that's anywhere from $200 to, let's just say, $300 a year. The plus side with those is, as you know, with the bank, it can be a lot cheaper because it can come with some type of package. So there's a lot of UK banks that do that. And, you've got that absolute peace of mind. I know a lot of people that stay that, but then you have, it's a fee in the end of the day. But I wouldn't want to lose everything I've got piled out here, And when we're talking silver, if I can get a couple of tubes available, we all know it could be a bit more cumbersome. It was going to take a look at that and try level that out. But whereas when you're talking something like gold, you can technically get, and you can fit up to 12 coins in one of these tubes. This is a standard gold Britannia tube. So if you was to take a look at that, you can technically get 12 of those in there. I would say you could easily get one more row in there. So if you're thinking 12, so that'll be 48. You could slip 2 independent ounces down there and double up here. That's 100 ounces in such a small space right there. Now this is the benefits and why a lot of people like gold. And then this could be easily tucked away. Once again, if you wanted to do this in home, last time I checked, burglars weren't coming in and lifting up sofas, flipping them up, looking for false walls, looking for tapping around on the floor for loose boards, for loose floorboards, and pressing up on the ceiling, going down in the basement. You can take that risk if you want to. I'm always asked what I do, but this is why I say it's going to be specific, but I'm getting it out there and saying know what you're going to do. You could get 100 ounces. Banks, personally, I'm not too keen on the bank one. I have moved more of the gold, and I'll speak on the split in a moment, into more independent, because if something goes wrong, you get bank runs. And it's no different if you don't bank with them, but you have a safety deposit box with them, and you just join the queue. So I understand banks can be taken over by the government. Independent vault storages can be, depending on who the insurer is. But if I was going to pick a favour out of the both of them, it would be more independent vault storage. But you can get 100 ounces in a small space, costing you no more than £200, $300 a year. So a small fee, fully insured. It's all going to boil down to whatever you're comfortable and you're safe with, but most definitely look on sorting it out. I would say once you're up to 3 ounces plus, with this being such a small form factor, once again, look, you could hold so much wealth, and you can technically just lump this, in the skirting, in the sofas, put a coin in each cushion or something. So much could be done with that, but it needs to be sorted out, because if you remember, you're going to be going very, very long with this stuff here. Sort it out. The most important thing I would say when it comes to storage / security is don't put all your eggs in one basket, and that's one thing I do. I don't have everything in one spot. Funny enough, especially with the bulk silver, I found that would be more easier for me, spread over different locations. When it's come to the gold, then we can start talking about independent vault storage and the likes of. But what I ultimately want to do is have half and half. So half in the independent bank storage, absolute small amount in the bank vault storage, and then also split out in plain sight or concealed hiding places and the likes of. But these are things you definitely need to set in place, get in place, and just make sure you stick with, because I've had people say, why don't I use a safe? Or why I don't not recommend them. I've always felt they're more of a liability. If somebody was to come in and see them, it could cause more issues than not. But then I think if you can have it concealed, a lot of people mention you want it bolted in and the likes of, then you're in a good position. But once again, I've always said it could be ran into, people technically, if you do get burgled, always technically look for those things. And once again, top security tip is going to be, you're going to become more of a target if somebody knows it's there. So that's going to be the number one thing you're doing. Once again, if you're going to be going down that route and trusting no one, you're not doing no harm to close family members, put it in a will. Just in case the worst happens, you go out for a stroll and don't come back. If it's in a will, it's sorted and your family are covered. So that's going to be second on the ultimate to-do list when it comes to stacking gold and silver. Get your security set in place. If you haven't done that, do that now. And don't try not to put all your eggs in one basket. As convenient as it is and stress-free, you don't want something bad to happen, i.e. fire, flood, burglary, and it's all gone in one. It may be small extra costs, it may be more traveling, but in the end of the day, if you're going super long with this, it's nothing now and it'll be everything later. So to wrap this up with the last one, I would say on the ultimate to-do list when you're stacking gold and silver, it's going to be commitment. You know, get yourself committed and dedicated to the cause of becoming your own bank manager, your own, you know, master of your financial future. You're gonna have to understand this is not a game, it's a lifestyle change. A lot of people don't understand. I stress that in a lot of videos, but it must really be understood. This is you technically taking your life out of the government's hands. You know, some people, well, a lot of people are invested in a government financial future plan, whether it's an IRA or, you know, a 401k and the likes of. When you're stacking this stuff, that's you taking your destiny in your own hands. Some people may not be prepared for it. Some people may be very blasé with it. Some people, it may be like a fad diet. And, you know, it sounds cool now to stack the gold and the silver stuff and, oh, it'll be great. But not to forget what I mentioned. You're looking at this stuff and you want to be looking at the exact same stuff 30 years from now. And that's if you haven't leveled up and done a couple of drills. You know, it's time for you to take on board and get fully committed that you're going to be taking care of your future and your loved one's future at a later date. So you have to become committed and dedicated to the cause of being your own financial master and for your own financial future. Understand a couple of things. If you win, it's on you. You know, if you listen to someone like Shadowstack that says buy this great fancy dragon coin and it dips and you lose a bit of money, it's on you. You know, don't get into the position where you're pointing your fingers at somebody else. Yes, you're learning at the same time, but you still got to use a bit of brain power towards it. It's your finances. This is why I say it's on you. If you lose, it's on you. If you win, it's on you. If you draw, it's on you. If you fall, dust yourself up, get back up, it's on you. This is what you're doing when you're getting committed and understand the commitment to becoming your own financial manager and, you know, taking care of your own financial future when you're getting into the gold and silver list. So that is another ultimate thing you must do. You must get committed to the cause and understand that it's going to be a long-term goal. No different if you was paying into your pension from a job. No different for your 401k every end of the month. A lot of the time, because it's the government taking care of things, people get into that cradled position where, you know, they're being taken care of. When you start getting into this, it's fun, you know, especially if you start a channel, whatever, and you start talking, but don't forget, it's on you. You have to get committed and fully understand that it's not a pot or a piggy bank you can dip into every now and then. You know, if that's going to be the only case and source of your funds, then try not to get into it now. Get in a much better position where you're, you know, debt free and good to go from there. But most definitely, and that could have easily been put first, you know, because, you know, you have to get committed and dedicated to the cause. So that's going to be the ultimate to-do list when stacking gold and silver, guys. But I would love to hear your list or your points or anything that you could add to that. So please do go ahead and add that down in the comments. Once again, if you haven't done so already, please do go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.